We shall now talk about the different looping, repetition, or iteration constructs provided in C++. The word iteration, looping, and repetition really means the same. What exactly is looping? It is used to execute zero or more statements again and again. Generally, there are two types of loops. One is it will execute a set of statements until a condition is true, or the second time is it will execute a set of statements a given number of times. An example of a loop which executes a given statement a fixed number of times is the for loop. So when you say repeat for in algorithms, you are executing that repeat for a fixed number of times, 10 times, 20 times, deciding on what you want to do. Example of loop where you are executing a set of statements based on whether a condition is true is while and do while. So there are basically three types of looping structures in C++. There is the while loop, there is the do while loop, and then there is the for loop. Sequentially, we'll take a look at each one of them along with a few examples so that your understanding of the loops is quite clear. Now, what we are going to do is first we are going to take a look at the while loop. Before looking into the theory, take a look at this particular example here. I have given x the value 1. As long as x is less than 5, I am going to repeat these statements. Okay, so what do I mean by repeat these statements? I am going to execute these statements again and again. So initially x is 1. 1 is less than 5. This condition is true. So I am going to print the value of x as 1. X now becomes 2. I go back here. This flower bracket indicates this is a compound block, or this is a compound statement or a block. X is 2. 2 is less than 5 is true. I am going to print the value of x as 2. X now is increased to 3. I come back here. 3 is less than 5 is still true. I am going to print the value of x as 3. Then x becomes 4. I go back here. 4 is less than 5, still true. I am coming here. I am printing 4 and x from 4 now becomes 5. Once I go back here, 5 is definitely not less than 5 because 5 is equal to 5. This condition fails and whatever is the code after the while loop here is going to get executed. So let's understand a few things about the while loop. In the while loop, this particular condition, whatever is the condition, is always checked at the beginning of the loop. That is why it is also called as a pre-test loop. Now, these set of instructions cout and x is assigned x plus 1 are executed repeatedly as long as this particular test condition is holding true or remains true. The minute this condition becomes false, as in the case of x becoming 5, I will come and execute the statements after the while loop. In technical terms, we say the control is transferred outside the loop. Now let's take a look at the syntax of the while loop. We have already taken a look at the diagrammatic syntax in the programming constructs. So this is how it is going to really look like. So the while loop is going to look like this. Alright, so if you are asked to write the syntax of the while is like this. While condition. In our case, what was the condition? X less than 5. So I can have 0 or more statements or instructions here. This is a block, also known as a compound statement. It is going to be executed again and again as long as this condition remains true. The minute this condition becomes false, it will halt execution and it will come and execute whatever are the statements following the while. That is also known as transfer of control outside the while loop.